Well, good morning, guys, and welcome to the show, Fernando.
Welcome to the show, guys.
Today, we're going to talk about the LX 1300.7. If you have a 6.5 set of components, a 6.5 inch coaxial, and of course a sub, how do I set this thing up so that it is so awesome and does amazingness? Stay tuned. When Kicker came out with this 7-channel amplifier, we were all very excited because like, oh heck yeah, man, we're getting a big 7-channel amplifier that's got a ton of power, and it does. It has 4 by 125, 2 by 65, and 1 by what, 700? That's crazy. And it is the perfect amplifier to power a whole system off of, giving us total control of everything that we're putting in. And today we're going to talk about our method for doing such a thing. If we have a set of components in the front, we got some coaxials in the back, how does this amplifier handle that? And well, what are some of the things that are kind of weird? But to understand how to do that, the first thing we have to do is look at this side of the amplifier. Now, Kicker did a pretty awesome job of breaking this amplifier up into the input, the mapping for that to the output. And what I mean by that is you have amplifier 1 input here, you have the output for amplifier 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, sub, wait, the sub's over here. And then this area here is to say, hey, how do I get the sound from here to these channels? These are push buttons. They're designed to go in and out. And if I take an RCA and I plug it into my amplifier 1, like so, and I'm playing sound through this, it will populate my amplifier 1. Now, if I want my amplifier 1 to populate, let's say amplifier 2, then I would come over to my push button right here where it says amplifier 2 input, and it gives me 2 options. If it is pushed in, that means this input right here is going to power that output. However, if I do that and make it stick out, that means that amplifier 1 will now power amplifier 1 and amplifiers 2. And then if I push this button, it'll do number 3, and if I push that button, it'll do the sub. So I could realistically put one RCA into this and control all of the outputs of the amplifier. But today we're not going to focus on that. What we want to do is figure out how do we set this up so that these all make sense and power our set of components. And you say, Dean, what are you talking about, man? It's real simple. Amplifier 1 goes to my tweeters, amplifier 2 goes to my mid bass, 3 is going to be rear, and 4 would be subwoofer. And I'd be like, no, that's not how it works on these, because what Kicker did is amplifier 1 is 125 watts by 2, amplifier 2 is 125 watts by 2, amplifier 3 is 65 watts by 2. Wait, what? They made the low power channels amplifier 3? Why did they do that? Whoa, slow down. Because in a perfect world, amplifier 1 should be our tweeters, amplifier 2 should be our mid-range, or in this case, our mid-bass. It's not going to be though. But it's not the end of the world because we have a simple solution. Don't get too excited yet. We're going to put a piece of tape over here on the amplifier. We're going to put some dividing lines in it. And we're going to make this a tweeter, mid-bass, and rear. Now you say, why not just put the tweeter on 3, the mid-bass on 1, and because it doesn't make sense, and there's a reason for it. We're going to show you why. And this will make way more sense. Now that we have our channel outputs and we know the tweeter is going to go here, the mid-bass is going to go here, and our rears are going to go here, now we need to set up the amplifier so that it matches these specific parameters. And to do that, we're going to worry about the fronts first. And amplifier 2 is what we want to plug our front RCAs into. And we would like these inputs to feed both amplifier 2 and amplifier 3. So to do that, we're going to come over to the middle button and we're going to make sure it's sticking out like this. Once that's done, cycle through to where it says amplifier 3 and grab the second knob, which is your high pass, and start adjusting it until you get to where your crossover point needs to be. In this case, we'll say 3.2. Then push the crossover and make sure that it is on Linkwitz-Riley, which is the default, and hit the slope, and it should be 24. Now, there are some options. If you're a Butterworth guy, just hit it twice, and I'll say Butterworth, and you can change it to 12 dB Butterworth if you want. It's entirely up to you. Just know that you need everything to kind of match up. We'll put it back to Linkwitz-Riley, 24. Then we'll select amplifier number 2, which is our mid bass. High pass in this case is going to be 80. And we want to match our low pass to the high pass we use for the tweeter, which would be 3.2. Check our crossover, like with Riley. Check our slope, 24. Fantastic. Cycle through to amplifier 1, which is our rear fill. Your RCA for the rear should be plugged into amplifier 1. Dial our high pass in. I like to be somewhere around 110. Low pass should be off. Crossover type, crossover slope. Now we have the rear mid tweeter all set up. The last section, of course, would be subwoofer. So we'll go through to subwoofer and we will set our low pass to 80 hertz. And then high pass is set to 10. That's a subsonic filter. If you're cool with 10, leave it alone. If you'd like a little bit more, maybe turn it up to 15. Entirely up to you. Crossover type. I like a lot of bass, so I typically will put mine at Butterworth 12 dB. Now we can move on to the bonus section of the amplifier, which is our time delay. Time delay will allow you to line up the tweeter and the mid bass so that it sounds like the main vocal is coming through the center of the car by adding a delay to the driver's side, because the driver's side is closer than the passenger side, which is going to be out of frame because it's way over there. To do that, we are going to remove all our RCAs. We don't want to have any in there. And we're just going to plug into amplifier 3. Then we're going to push this button back in. We're going to cycle around to amplifier 3 on here. You're going to need some test tracks, and you can find them on your music provider, and you want the Sheffield Labs My Disc. And the two tracks you want are Three People Describing Position and Polarity Pops. The Polarity Pop sounds like this. And while that is making noise, you're going to grab the last dial towards the right, and you're going to start turning this guy up. And you're going to go way too far. And what should happen, that popping sound should sound like it just zoomed across your dash and is now sitting somewhere over in the passenger side of the car, which you don't want it there, but that's where it's at. You did that so that you could kind of get an idea like, oh crap, you heard the movement of the speaker. Now you're going to want to start dialing this down until it moves back in line with the center of the dash. It may be a little off, but you want it somewhere in that area. Then you're going to switch to the three people describing their position. It's going to tell you it's off on the left and it's off on the right, but if you scroll into the middle, it'll give you this.
The center of your sound stage.
Which is her telling you that she's in the center of the dash. Now, if she's off to the left or right, turn it up or turn it down. We know if we go up, it'll move it that way, and if we go down, it'll move it that way until you get her all lined up where she needs to be. Cool. Keep in mind when you're doing this, because it's a tweeter, it's gonna sound very tweeterish. It's gonna it's gonna have a lot of tweeter sound. With that done, unplug the RCAs, plug them back into 2. This will just feed amplifier 2 to our mid bass, and that's it. And we're gonna repeat the process. Cycle back around to amplifier 2, turn the delay up way too high, and then start turning it back until it kind of gets where it needs to using those polarity pops. And then switch over to left, right, center, the three people. She should sound like she's coming out of behind the center console if it has one. Mid bass can be difficult because there again, it's a lower frequency. You have a crossover on it. It's not gonna play that high up. Either way, keep adjusting the dial until you think you have it right. Now you need to hear both the tweeter and the mid-range at the same time. Simple enough. Come back over this middle button and press it. They'll both turn on, and now if you need to, you can do a little bit more fine-tuning. At this point, you may need to do some level adjustment because the tweeter might be too high or might not be hot enough. That's where gain trim comes in. Sure, there's gains on the amplifier, I got that, but there's also a plus or minus 3 dB built into this. So if we feel there's too mid-bassy and we like a little bit more tickety-tick, we can turn up amplifier 3, which is our tweeter amplifier, or we can cycle around to amplifier 2 and we could turn that down or up to increase or decrease the level going to them. We can use this to do fine tuning so that we level match these two drivers to where we're sitting in the car and get the impact that we're looking for from both. Once you're done with the excitement of those two guys, now we need to move on to the rear. And I say, wait, well, we're gonna align the rear? Of course we're gonna align the rear. Plug in your rear RCA only. Go through the same process. Play the polarity tracks. Go back to amplifier 1 and start turning this dial until it sounds like it's right over your shoulder in the back seat. Like someone is sitting between you and they're going, hey man, what's going on, which is a perfect line from the center of the car. Play the 3 people talking and make sure she's still there. Then, once you're done with that, plug back in your fronts and make sure nothing has changed, that the center is still center and it's not doing anything weird. For those of you that are like, man, that's cool, I would really like some surround in the rear though. No problem. There are some generic settings to give you that. If you're on amplifier 1 and you push the channel mode button, the first thing that'll come up is stereo. If you push it again, it'll give you mono, left plus right. If you push it one more time, it's going to give you mono, left minus right. Left minus right is going to give you that sound of the center being gone and it just being a surround. And of course you could unplug these fronts and hear it, and you'll hear your main vocal just disappear and just backup singers and sound effect. It has a very sound effect sound. That will allow you to keep your front stage grounded and give you that home sound where you have all your speakers playing. Now, is it going to decrease the volume a little bit? Yes, of course, because you're doing away with some of the volume. However, this is a fun effect that is easy enough to cycle through to turn on and off, and most people that we show this to are like, ooh, yeah, I like that. That's cool. Lastly is the subwoofer. Now, the subwoofer gives you phase control by hitting that same button. The phase control is used to bring the subwoofer in line with that front mid bass. If you're sitting there and you're hitting the button and you don't hear any different, we'll just leave it on phase normal. Play enough music though to where it matters. Now what is happening is you say, phase, it's not out of phase. Oh, I wired it up properly. Of course you wired it up properly. That's not the same thing. That is polarity. Everything could be in polarity, but your subwoofers could still be out of phase with your mid bass, and it could be canceling your mid bass out. That's a distance problem. So by flipping this back and forth, you may bring your subs in phase with your mid bass and give you a better, deeper sound. In some cases you might, in some cases it will, but it's a fun button to play with. The next is kicker EQ. It's highlighted down here now because we're in the sub, and here is your kicker sub EQ gain. It'll go up to 6 dB. That's going to add a lot of impact to your music. They only give you 6 instead of 12 because they don't want you to blow it. You can pick the frequency that you want it to be. I like 45 hertz, reminds me of punch bass. And then the last thing you have here is bandwidth. And this is the one that everyone screws up because they go bandwidth 1. Nobody wants a 1. Oh, it goes up to 5. I want a 5. And when you turn it up to 5, you're actually removing all the deep bass from your car because you've just made a very narrow Q. 1, boomy, 5, not boomy. So if you like boomy bass, keep it closer to 1 or just leave it at 1. All right, guys, that's it for now. Fernando.
On to the next one, guys.
We hope you guys really enjoyed this. We hope it makes it so much easier to set up your 7-channel kicker amplifier. And don't forget when you're done to peel this tape off. You don't want to ship it like that or drive around. You may want to drive around like that. That's entirely up to you. But that's it. That's all we have. Enjoy. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.